Unfortunately, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man that go nuts if he can't shoot. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, given to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations, I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Eric Malcolm.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine, you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings ladies all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got...
This is the sound of David's fun.
All right, everyone. Hello. Thanks for tuning in once again to the Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur TV show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your Daily Vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Also, if you have not subscribed to the main channel, the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, please be sure to do so. And also double check to make sure that you're still subscribed to the channels. All right, because sometimes people are mysteriously unsubscribed. All right, let's get into it. Hold on, let me pull this up on my phone real quick. Let me pull the chat up on my phone. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. You all know they have the Queen Shadow Band. Please pay attention. And for those of you who are members of the spiritual channel, Queen Ahmadiyyah TV, More Than Meets the Third Eye, well, I've already posted a video to start at 4 o'clock, and that's for members only. And if you are a member and I have your email, then I've already sent you the link. However, if I don't have your email and you didn't receive the link, you can find it in my community tab. Let me just put it in the chat real quick. And this is for members only. Everyone, please get those likes up. Thank you in advance, beloveds. Okay, so for those who aren't members, I'll try to see what I can do as time permits. Y'all know the Queen is busy, honey. I'm booked and busy. I have a lot going on. Pay attention. Okay, so here's the link right here. All right. So here's the link posted in the chat. All right. So that live is going to start at 4 o'clock. So I don't have time to tarry. Let me hurry up and get this one done so I can be ready. Okay. So on the last broadcast that I did on the main channel, someone asked me about the story about the 215 bodies. Now, I said that I already broke that story. But I went back and double checked and I didn't talk to you all about that story. Doesn't look like I talked about it, but I did do a TikTok about that story a couple of days ago. And I talked about it on another platform. Y'all know I'm on different platforms, honey. So at the end of the day, I got confused. Okay. I got confused. So Reg says, my sister says you'd be a great actress with your expressions. Thank you, beloved. Tell your sister I said, thank you. Okay, so now let's get into it. Because this is all nefarious. I want y'all to pay attention. Okay, this is all nefarious. So let's start off with, first of all, let's talk about Barack Obama. Because this just came to my attention. Okay, so they say that people on Twitter have been in an uproar because the former President Barack Obama followed a porn star. Sarah J is her name. Twitter loses it over revelation Barack Obama follows porn star Sarah J. And so let me just show her face on the screen. This is all nefarious. That's her right there. Okay, that's her right there. I mean, she's not very amazing looking for a porn star. I mean, I don't know. I guess I thought porn stars looked a whole lot better, but anyway. So anyway, maybe she has a banging body. I don't know, but let me continue. Social media, here's what it says. Social media exploded Saturday morning when porn star Sarah J began trending on Twitter after fans of the adult film star noticed former President Barack Obama was one of her 1 million followers. While many initially joked that Jay was trending because men no longer have sports to occupy their time, tweets soon began to discuss family man Obama and why his profile was linked to the XXX account, prompting some hilarious responses from the public. Someone said, I don't know I don't know about y'all, but seeing Sarah J trending made me feel even more connected to at Barack Obama. My man wrote this is what one person wrote. They said, my man. And then another person says, Obama thought he was logged into his incognito account. So anyway, wife Michelle Obama's potential reaction to the news was also a talking point when posting a popular GIF of the act of the author snatching Barack's phone from his hand alongside captions like Michelle when she realizes why Sarah J is trending. Barack has little to prove in terms of his love for the former first lady, recently packaging on the PDA for her 56th birthday, saying in every scene, "You are my star," at Michelle Obama. Happy birthday, baby. This is what he wrote to his spouse alongside the photo booth style pictures. Let me tell y'all something. We know people are so nosy. Why do they care who that man's following on social media? Now, do you all remember how everybody was also in an uproar when actor Richard Lawson was found out to have liked some adult images and videos on Twitter? People need to sit all the way down. And here's the thing. First of all, I don't care who these people are following and what they're liking. None of that concerns me. But also, let me tell you, when they went in about Richard Lawson, when they started talking about that, I mean, they weren't really going in on him. They just thought it was funny. But when they were talking about that, honey, that was the first time that I actually knew that whatever you like on Twitter, other people can see. Good thing the Queen wasn't liking no porn videos. Honey, pay attention. Pay attention, honey, okay? Of course, I don't watch such things. I don't watch such things myself. Okay, I just go around daily trying to do what the Most High would want me to do. It would behoove me to do as the Most High requests. Pay attention. I mean, what can I say? I'm not low down and nefarious like some of y'all in this chat. Now, let's see who's in here. Leon Gardner, Juju's in here. Roddy 2024, Blackie Blackerson. Okay, you must be blickety black, and Blackie Blackerson. Pay attention. Okay, Nicole Claudette, Leon, Aboriginal woman, that crazy beach areas, Pennywise. Okay, the Prince of Paraphernalia, aka POP. DJ Johnson, Donna. Juju said Queen doesn't do nefarious on her little old laptop. Meanwhile, I do. I bet you do, Juju. Okay. All hell nah. Timber Dan is here. Okay, Maurice, Wendy Ray, King Lejeune, Yaya in her business. Okay, Trisha. Nicole says blue, black. Okay. Timber dancing, hallelujah. Yolanda, Janelle, Claudette, Stacy, Quinn, Dorian, Evelyn. Okay, let's get into it. Black and Silver in the house. All right, shout out to everyone chatting, everyone tuned into the Queen. I see you, Jay, great beloved. Okay, so Aboriginal woman said, not the CB4 reference. You already know. So now let's talk about these nefarious stories. This is all very troublesome, and I want you all to pay attention. Okay, at the end of the day, hey, my Aunt Egypt. Now, here's the thing. Now, back in October, I broke the story about a man by the name of Dexter Wade from Jackson, Mississippi. Now, Dexter left his house on March the 5th of 2023, never to be seen or heard from again. His family grew concerned and they reported him missing. All the while, this man was already dead. He had been killed by a police officer. A police officer hit him on the roadside, okay, as he was walking. And so Dexter passed away and his family was not notified. He was simply buried in a pauper's grave behind the Mississippi jail. Now, this is what happened that I reported in October. Now, mind you, they say they didn't have any way to identify him and find out who his family was, but that's not true. He had a pill bottle, an empty prescription bottle in his pockets, okay? And so that doesn't even make any sense. So why didn't they tell the family anything about this man? You know, I told you all then that it was, in my opinion, that the reason the family wasn't notified is because they didn't want to have to face a lawsuit or be scrutinized because this man was, in fact, he lost his life at a police officer's hands. Okay. And so I'm going to show you all the TikTok that I did about this a couple of days ago. And then we're going to get into it because this is all very crazy. Now that they found 215 bodies after Dexter's body was found, well, this led to people beginning to get more suspicious about their missing loved ones as well. So let's get those likes up. Please like and share, everyone. Thank you in advance. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur. Families have discovered that 215 bodies have been buried in unmarked graves behind a Mississippi jail. Let's get into it. This all started when the family of Dexter Wade discovered that he had been buried in a pauper's grave without their knowledge or consent. They had reported him missing after he left the home on March 5th of 2023, never to be seen or heard from again, only for them to find out later that he'd actually been struck by an officer on the road and lost his life. So once they found out about Dexter, well, a bunch of other families got curious as to where their missing relatives were as well. And now here we are, 215 bodies later. This is all so nefarious. Please pay attention. Dexter Wade's body could easily have been identified and the family informed of what happened because he was actually carrying a prescription pill bottle with his name and address on it. Not to mention authorities knew his family because his uncle had lost his life to a Jackson officer. And so there was already an ongoing case. This is all so crazy. Activist Suki Slim Reed says that when they watched the video footage that they taken, they saw buzzards circling over the area. And only for them to later find out the reason for the buzzards was because of the stench. Because all of these bodies, they had all just been thrown into body bags without having been embalmed, okay, and just buried in shallow graves. This is absolutely inhumane and ridiculous. And also, when they were going to exhume Dexter Wade's body, well, they were supposed to do it at 12 p.m. in the afternoon, but they ended up doing this around 6:30 to 7 in the morning because they said they were not going to let them embarrass them with all of the cameras. So the fact that they said they didn't want to be embarrassed lets you know that they knew they were being absolutely nefarious. Please pay attention. Now they're looking into the cases of 6 other individuals buried in these graves. Attorneys Benjamin Crump and Dennis Sweet are calling for a federal investigation into all of this. Activist Suki Slim says that they've actually been accused of playing the race card. But he said that's absolutely not the case because some of his clients are white people, okay? So they can stop trying to act like this is all about racism. At the end of the day, no one deserves to be buried and just discarded as though they're trash in such an inhumane way. I'm really hoping federal authorities look into this. At the end of the day, the families are saying that the bodies are so badly decomposed, they don't know what happened to them or, if this is even the right person or whatever. They were just labeled by simple numbers. And the authorities are telling them, well, this name goes to this number and so on and so forth. So they literally just have to take them at their word. So, yeah, someone really needs to come down and investigate and find out exactly what's going on. Okay, so we all know that's absolutely crazy. That doesn't even make any sense. First of all, how are we to know how these people died? They could have been murdered, anything, and nobody knows nothing. And then they didn't even embalm the bodies. How low down and nefarious is that? Okay, just so inhumane. Didn't embalm these people, just threw them like they were trash into body bags and then buried them in shallow graves. Buzzards swarming around everywhere. This is all sick. Okay, it's all so sick. Now, if you remember, back when I reported on Dexter, I talked about how his body was exhumed. And hold on. I'm going to pull this up. His body was exhumed without a ceremony or anything like that. And they basically didn't want to do it in the light of day because they didn't want anybody to see them digging this body up and to know that they had bodies, dead bodies, buried in unmarked graves behind the jail. Okay, they didn't want people to see what they had done. They didn't want to talk about that. Just low down and nefarious, honey. Please pay attention. Now I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this news report. I showed you all this before when I initially spoke about Dexter. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Turning to anger. Betterson Wade thought she'd finally get some peace of mind, working with Hinds County, Mississippi officials to exhume the remains of her son, Dexter, who was killed and buried without her knowing. But Public Works officials went ahead with the plan hours before she arrived.
I didn't get to see him come from the ground. Okay, cover up. I mean, y'all keep telling me y'all didn't do it unintentionally. This is not an intention to me, but how? If this is y'all child, what would y'all think?
Her son's remains had already been dug up and put into a body bag. Wade says the county made her feel like she doesn't exist and that it didn't matter she's a mother looking to honor her son. The Public Works Department did not return a request for comment.
She had to fight for transparency just to get to this point. And even though it's emotional, she ain't no ways tied. For us, it's almost a funeral in reverse.
Wade had filed a missing persons report in March, only to find out 6 months later her son had been struck and killed by an off-duty Jackson police officer while crossing a highway. He was then buried in an unmarked grave behind the county jail.
Only thing I could say, Dexter, I tried to find you, and I couldn't. I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry you are here.
Jackson police have not responded to NBC's questions about the case, but according to the coroner's office, an investigator did identify Dexter and shared contact information for his mother with the police. But Betterson says she never got a call.
At no point have we identified or did any investigation reveal that there was any police misconduct in this process and that there was any malicious intent.
The premature exhumation, another insult for a grieving mother. And as her attorneys see it, a situation that now makes it impossible to know the condition in which Dexter's remains were buried.
And it begs the question about all those other unknown bodies in that graveyard. How many of those families that think their loved ones are missing? We're going to get to the truth. Not just for your son, but for other children.
All right, with that, Maura Barrett joins us now live in the studio. So, Maura, my question is, because we don't really know this, I don't know if we know this yet. There was an off-duty officer who hit that man, who sort of led to all this. Do we know if that person has been investigated? Are they charged? Do we even know their name?
Well, as of right now, all that we do know is that the officer was off duty at the time all of this unfolded. I called the city and the police department looking for clarification on whether the officer is still employed, what that status is, and whether or not this could be involved as part of the larger federal investigation that the family is calling for. We still, like you said, don't know who this officer is. Now, as for next steps for the Wade family, their attorneys are setting up an independent autopsy and are planning a funeral for next week.
So to be clear, we try to figure out who this off-duty officer was to see how this whole thing happened, and we've gotten nothing so far.
No details yet.
Okay. Maura Barrett first. Maura, great to have you here in studio.
Now, that's all just crazy because at the end of the day, they didn't show the officer's face, didn't give his name, and no one knows what became of him. Did he get any type of punishment for this? How did he hit this man and end up taking his life? Okay, where's the police report? Where's all of the information and details of what happened? Now, for all we know, this was clearly a cover-up. We can all see that. But for all we know, it could have been something more sinister than just simply him accidentally being hit. I want you all to pay attention, which is why I believe that they buried him in an unmarked grave and didn't mention anything about his family. Another thing is, how did they not know who this man was when he had a prescription pill bottle in his pocket with his name and his address? That could have told them everything they needed to know. Who he was, where he lived, who his relatives were. Okay? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, they could have at the very least gone and contacted the pharmacy that issued the prescription. But they didn't do any of those things. They just simply discarded his body like he was trash. Another thing is this. It's very interesting and also ironic at the same time that Dexter Wade's family is known to police. The police know his family well because his uncle also lost his life at the hands of a police officer. And so there was an ongoing case with that situation. So they were constantly in communication with Dexter's family. So why did they not know that something was going on? And when Dexter was reported missing by his family, you mean to tell me that they couldn't put the pieces together? They can see that, okay, there's a missing person from these people's family, and there was a man that was just hit by one of our off-duty officers days ago. They didn't put that together and then say to the family, well, you know what? There was a young man that was hit days ago. Could you come and want to take a look at the body and see if you can identify him? See if this is your missing loved one? They didn't say any of that because, mind you, when you report a person missing, you give a very good description of the person. You give their name, their weight, their height, their eye color, their hair color, all of these things. So the information that the family gave to officers when they made the missing persons report, they didn't bother to add that, to compare that to the person who was just hit by the officer that they didn't know who he was. Make it all make sense. This is nothing but a cover-up. At the end of the day, the feds need to come down there and investigate and see what's going on because those police are going to continue to lie and stick together. That's just my opinion. It's also nefarious. Yes, Odd Negroes official said so. It was intentional. Well, it sounds like it, but even if it wasn't, regardless, they covered it up. What are they hiding? Okay. And like I said, with these other people buried in unmarked graves, just thrown away and discarded, we don't know what really happened to those people at the end of the day. We don't know what brought them to their demise. So a whole lot of answers, need to come forward. It sure does. Black and Silver says, that takes Nancy Drew intelligence. Okay, absolutely. All right, that crazy bitch Eric said exactly, Queen. Okay, so now let's talk about another story, and this one is not good either. This is about a small town in Virginia where there are a myriad of unsolved murders. Unsolved. That have rocked the community. And people are very upset and they are concerned. So let's talk about it. Okay, because a couple of you all sent me this like over a week ago, and I hadn't gotten around to talking about it. So let's get into it. First, I'm going to show you a news report. Then I'll show you some footage of the family members of people who met their end and what they had to say about all of this. I'm not going to show the whole thing because the video was literally like 41 minutes long. Okay.
More than a year, a Henrico mom makes the move to relocate her teen son to a relative's home in Lunenburg County for a change of pace and safety. The mother of three telling Crime Insider John Burkett and the Reopen the Case Foundation her plan backfired badly, and now she's suffering unimaginable grief.
When you have several kids, you never expect to have to live without one. I miss everything about him. So it's really rough. And she thought that he was just going outside to the backyard, but he never came back.
We have been passing out flyers, just trying to get the word out because we really do feel like nothing is being done.
Sion's phone was pinging at a registered sex offender's home.
Red flag. What in the world could you do that bad for a person to do that to another person?
He was dismembered.
This was unique and like nothing I've seen before in my time with the state police and working homicide cases.
The chief of police in Kinbridge at the time, on a hunch, went to a spot off C Road and found his body.
How he find it? How did he find it? Whoever did it, God gonna take care of that. I think about quitting school, Grandpa. I said, no, you ain't. I said, no, you ain't. You ain't gonna quit no school. You gonna get that degree. You working at Popeyes. Look, Grandpa, look, Grandpa. I said, let me hold something, boy. Go ahead on. You don't need nothing. Hurry up and put it in his pocket. But he was a good kid.
The victim in this case is 17-year-old Sion Carroll. He disappeared from his grandmother's home on November 2nd. He was found about 10 days later on November 11th.
She had told me that they had an argument because she asked him to pick his jackets up off the floor. And they had words back and forth. And then he came in the room later on that night and apologized to her once I called him and talked to him and, told him to just hold on. Everything gonna be okay. I'm gonna make sure you're okay.
It was alleged that Sion was not the shooter, but he was involved in a shooting in a part of Henrico County. But that later proved that he was not involved in that. But even with that said, his mom had made the decision to move him in with his grandmother to get him away from Henrico. So she was hoping that the country would provide security for Sion instead of this mess.
And she told me that He apologized to her and everything, but then he went outside, and she thought that he was just going outside to the backyard, but he never came back.
When I asked where Sion disappeared from, they point down in that direction, and you could see like a small tool shed out front. And family members were telling me that's where Sion hung out with his pal, his buddy, Brandon, all the time.
One of the phones that he had was an iPhone, but it didn't have service. But it was my oldest son's old iPhone. And he did find my iPhone, and the phone pinged where it pinged to. I went there, nobody saw him, and then I started to receive messages stating that it was a tier 3 sex offender that lived at the home. So it was really awkward. So when I went there that Friday evening, they told me that he wouldn't have a reason to be down there. They don't know him, and I'm telling them where his phone is pinging here. So the phone is only used around Wi-Fi.
For months after Sion's body had already been found, the sex offender was actually scrubbed from the registry. And that meaning every time I looked on the sex offender registry for this sex offender, he was not there. He was not listed at that address that he was listed at, or was he in the system at all. The most mysterious thing in this case is how Sion was found.
The chief at that time, as he told me, just had a feeling. So I deem it by the grace of God, he happened to be in the 200 block here of Seaway and came upon this area.
How did he find it? How did he find it? He was the only one out there.
I mean, even if I lived in Lunenburg, I don't think I could find that spot.
Why did he resign?
It's a good question. I don't know. No one knows why he resigned, except I guess the town manager. So his body was found dismembered at several joints. He was shot multiple times. Sion's case is a very high-profile case that happened in this community, but when investigating his disappearance and his death, we learned more about a dark cloud that seems to have been hovering over this small town for a long time. And there's been several deaths that are in question in that area, and all of them are centered around one area of Lunenburg County.
And that was our John Burkett reporting. Ken Bridge, town manager, tells us by email this afternoon that Chief Ben Barnes' resignation was accepted on January 12th of 2023. He adds that the now former chief did not give a reason, nor did his resignation letter specify why. Sion Carroll's body is not the only teen that's been found with gunshot wounds and off the beaten path. More of his case and others like it will be airing in a primetime special December 12th, a Reopen the Case documentary, Center Street, the Unsolved Murders in a Tiny Virginia Town. Send tips to 833-RTC-FNVA or email at tips@reopenthecase.org.
Now, this is all crazy. So they were saying that his phone was pinging there, but they insisted that he wasn't there. Shot and dismembered, like Jay Great says, likely, or organ harvesting. This is also crazy. So the special that they were talking about aired in December. That's what I'm going to show you some clips from. Now, this first clip is like 9 minutes long. Now, some of what the first lady said is going to be featured in this clip as well. But please pay attention to the details and what these people have to say.
When we was getting ready to go do the search before they called Chip to the office, to the police office, he said he got scared, he got paranoid, he didn't want to come up there to help. They said too many guys was up there.
It's been reported that one day after Sion's body was found, Brandon killed himself. Well, people living in that area said they heard this. They were behind Brandon Lee. He was running down Center Street, and that's when he ran into the woods past his house there and committed suicide. We looked for those radio transmissions, but we haven't been able to confirm that actually happened.
As we stated, we went up to the door, began to knock on the door. No one answered the door. About maybe 5 minutes later, we were greeted by state police and Lunenburg police and also Cambridge police. Then they asked us to get off the property. They told us that they wanted to see everybody who was driving, license and registration, because we were illegally parked in the street.
At the same time, it's another lady that lives not too far from that house told us that her daughter was sitting on her back porch and she heard somebody in the woods screaming for help. And she called the police and they never showed up. Did y'all hear that one? Y'all heard about that? Yeah. We also searched her property too, but it was just too much land.
The most mysterious thing in this case is how Sion was found.
The chief at that time, as he told me, just had a feeling. So I deem it by the grace of God, he happened to be in the 200 block here of Seaway and came upon this area. And once again, further investigation found it to be a clandestine grave.
In the dark, out of his jurisdiction, on a hunch, 3:30 in the morning, the woods behind me.
How he find it? How did he find it? He was the only one out there.
Just remembering some of the conversations that I had when I went there to meet with him. And every scenario he gave me that could have happened to my son had something to do with woods. Every scenario. He gave me 3 scenarios. One of them including, he takes medicine. So the medicine that he take, I went to class and I know that one of the meds that he take, he possibly could have went in the woods and committed suicide. You telling the mother that's looking for her son that he went in the woods and committed suicide?
A red flag went up. He resigned in the middle of an investigation in his tan. In his tan. That don't look good.
During the production of this documentary, we reached out several times to the former chief, Ben Barnes, and finally he did get back to us with a statement. We sent Ben Barnes a list of about 20 questions. He answered maybe 2 or 3 of them, and the rest, he said, were part of the state police investigation. Mr. Burkett, my resignation from the Cambridge Police Department on December 31st, 2022 was a decision I made several weeks prior to the disappearance of Sion Carroll. I chose to participate in the missing persons investigation in spite of my decision to leave the department. During the missing persons investigation, I searched several areas in the town of Cambridge and Lunenburg County. During the course of the investigation, an anonymous tip was received that led the investigation to the Seaway area in Lunenburg County. The area was searched by myself and other law enforcement officers without result. I believed a further search of the area was needed. During the further search of the area, I discovered the location of the remains. Information about the anonymous tip was previously withheld to protect the tipster and the security of the investigation. I will defer any further inquiry you have to the agency investigating the homicide, the Virginia State Police. Happy holidays to you and yours, and good luck with your story. Ben Barnes. The whole damn case is bizarre. I mean, I don't even know where you want to start at. You know, one thing we learned after interviewing grandmother is when I asked her if I was the first media interview she had, she goes, media interview? You're the first interview I've had, period. It is odd. Wait, you've never been interviewed by the special agent?
No.
So you never talked to Kevin Jordan?
No.
Interviews have been conducted in this investigation. Some individuals have been interviewed more than once. We've actually had people that have voluntarily provided information.
So investigators hadn't interrogated her, and mind you, she is the last person that saw Sion alive. Brandon Lee, he was there when family members were at the church at the corner of Center Street. It was said that he and Sion were pretty good friends, but since I've talked to Brandon's mother, she just says, you know, she doesn't know how close they were. They were definitely not blood-related relatives like we've been told before.
I spoke with Brandon, I think, maybe 2 or 3 times. And his wording and his body language was just really off to me. So I knew that he had known something. And it was almost pretty much like he really wanted to tell me, but he didn't, and he didn't know how.
Brandon carried me and my friend and another friend of ours down to a Cowboy house. I told Brandon to tell Cowboy to come, I want to talk to him. He called Cowboy and said some people want to talk to you. And he came. And I got out and I walked around and I looked. I seen some down there were burning. They had been burning trash or something. And he came out, went and I opened the hood, the thing on the back of the truck, and looking at it and seen the garden tools, all the garden tools.
And Junius says he doesn't think it's a coincidence that after he spoke to Cowboy, Cowboy was shot. And according to court documents we obtained, we found out that Cowboy was ambushed in a trailer he was staying in on Busy Lane.
Action day. We began to walk down to the Poorhouse Road location. In the midst of us walking, we were stopped by an officer that was driving a Dodge Charger, a gray one, and he introduced himself as Officer Barnes. And I asked him, he asked me, did I need any help? I said, well, you can help us look for Sion. So he told me that to come closer to his vehicle. And he said, I've been looking for Sion all day. Come closer, come take a look. When I approached the car, I seen like brush and dirt and maybe some leaves on his lap. And he kind of gave it a little brush like, yeah, I've been looking for him. So me looking at him like, well, we're walking and we don't look like that. So how do you get brush and leaves and dirt on your lap in a car?
And I said, hey, I have a question. Why hasn't anyone went into the home when there's a known sex offender that lives here and you don't need a warrant to go inside of this home? And he proceeds to tell me that he's not technically considered a sex offender. Something about he was just in the car with someone and the girl, and that's how he got the charge, but technically he's not considered a sex offender. I said, well, he's registered on the sex offender registry. So how do you get registered on the sex offender registry without being considered a sex offender?
For months after Sion's body had already been found, the sex offender was actually scrubbed from the registry. And that meaning every time I looked on the sex offender registry for this sex offender, he was not there. He was not listed at that address that he was listed at, or was he in the system at all? And we've since learned that's not supposed to happen. I did go back and forth via email with the state police representative about the sex offender being off the registry. And after 2 or 3 emails, I finally got a response saying it's part of the investigation. They can't comment.
Okay, so this is all nefarious, like I said. And now, how did that sex offender get taken off the registry? Who took him off and why? Clearly, it was the police. Who else could have done it? Nicole said, all nefariousness. Claudette said the cop is part of the cover-up too. I absolutely believe that. Absolutely. Okay? Absolutely. And the thing is, when the phone was pinging, when the woman was looking for her son, how come the police didn't go there and demand some answers? Yahweh said, the police are obviously killing people in Mississippi. I will keep saying that. Well, something is definitely going on, but this town has a history of racism. It has a history of it. Okay, at the end of the day, and I mean, from decades ago, over 100 years ago. Okay, they had all the black people there were disenfranchised after this white woman turned up dead. And they immediately assumed that black people did it, even though there were plenty of white people that could have been suspects as well. They automatically assumed that a black person did it, and they started talking about lynchings and all of that. Please pay attention. Now I'm going to go to another clip, and this clip is like 4 minutes, okay? Like 4.5 minutes long. So let's get into it.
Aunt, uncle, whatever we were doing as kids, it won't never like dangerous or we had to look over our shoulder or scare anything. Like, it was just so like it was a good community. I just feel like it's a ghost town. It's like it's quiet. From my brother, from my cousin Brandon, cousin Tone, my Aunt Pat, I just feel like it ain't gonna be the same down there no more.
Carlton Craig lost his life in Victoria, Virginia, not too far from here, September 24th of 2023.
Medic 2 wants to request an ALS for a suicide attempt. Call advised the subject is breathing. Shot himself in the head. They advised that they're applying pressure now.
The 911 call for Carlton Craig came in as a suicide, but when deputies arrived on scene, they had 6 people inside the apartment. And of course, Carlton was dead, and someone had apparently rifled through his pockets.
I got a phone call at 5:30 that morning from a neighbor that lived under the apartment that he was found in. From what I got, he was fighting in the parking lot. So I don't know if he was fighting in the parking lot and he ran in the house. He had just got his driver's license.
But it wasn't at the scene.
Nothing. His wallet, cell phone, nothing.
I tried to find me app to track the phone. Didn't go off anything. I tried to call it and call it and call it. It's just, I don't know, if he in somebody's apartment and they know him and they know you and our family and they proclaim somebody after him, why not be like, we're going to take care of this?
Or help him.
Or we're going to help you. We're going to get you out of here. Or we're going to find out who's after you.
She said she went and told the manager at the Village Estate that somebody was holding them hostage and shot a young man. If somebody holding you hostage, somebody else shot besides me, ain't it?
Family members telling us when the deputies went to investigate, the scene wasn't roped off like normal major crimes would be roped off. There were people walking in and out of the apartment. So if there was any option for tainted evidence, it was there because the family said they were walking in and out freely.
I found my son's hoodie at somebody else's house, washed, soaking wet when I got it back.
The same exact hoodie he had on when he murdered with.
Yeah, when he was supposed to commit suicide.
Just ruled it as a suicide and cleaned him up. Well, picked him up and put him in a damn body bag. Excuse my language. And just told everybody, let's back to normal. Blood up in the apartment. I had to see my mom clean my brother brain off to the floor, man. It's all right, though. Just really getting to the details. There's so many facts and pieces to the puzzle. I just feel like it's not all put together. And I want justice, one way or another. That's why I'm talking and making phone calls and trying to get to the bottom of it. That way I can help out as best way as possible with this and everything else going on. But this right here is my main concern. This is my little brother. So I feel like I just need a little more help with the sheriff and anybody else that got questions, people that was in the apartment, people that he called that night, people that seen him the night before or prior that night. I just want a little more than what I got right now. So that's all I'm asking for.
It'll never be no justice. Just tell me, how could you kill my son?
He's my son. He's my great nephew. I got him when he's 3, and that's where he's been. So I said, my son. He said, mama. So he knew his mother, but when you raise someone, they call you what they call you. So I was his mama. He would help anybody. He was a good person. He would help anybody. If I was to pull a trash can out while he's in that house, he'd have a fit. Could cook, clean better than I do. He had manners. He did silly stuff like all young people do when he was younger, but he was a good person.
Absolutely heartbreaking to hear this kind of stuff. And the police are just not doing anything as far as I'm concerned. Like, what crimes are they trying to solve? Here's the thing. Now, the young man whom they say took his own life, what type of investigation did they do? It didn't sound like they did much. They just went ahead and said that it was self-inflicted, because whomever was at the residence with him when this all supposedly occurred, that's what they said. Now, did they check the young man's hands for gunpowder residue, fingerprints on the weapon? I have questions. Did they check any of the people that were present for gunpowder residue? Did they check the trajectory of the blood spatter? All of this stuff should have been done. Did they close off the crime scene and have crime scene investigators collect numerous amounts of evidence. It doesn't sound like they really are doing their jobs. Like they're just trying to sweep all this stuff under the rug. And I think, in fact, that the police are either involved or they know exactly who is. That's what I think. I think they're involved in this whole thing or they know who is. So this is all so crazy. So tomorrow we're going to talk more about this. We're going to get into part 2 because there's other stories. And this is all very sad and absolutely troublesome. So much hole in the investigation, says Nicole. Absolutely. Absolutely. They didn't check anything because they're the ones responsible, said I'm rifling Christ. Yeah, I think so. I absolutely think that the police are involved. Because, first of all, how did that man, remember when they said in the first case they were talking about, they said, how did that man find anything out there on that deserted road? Even if you lived there, they said it would have been hard to have found anything. How did he just go straight to it? Like, this is all crazy. More bodies have turned up over Christmas too, says I'm rifling Christ. And so anyway, I'm going to keep looking into this because we need to find out exactly what's going on. But the police, they already know. See, in cases like this is where federal officials need to get involved. Okay, federal authorities need to be down there, boots on the ground, trying to figure out what's going on because these police are clearly covering something up. They know exactly what's going on. And to me, it sounds like perhaps some organ harvesting, not to mention just blatant racism and hatred going on down there as well. And then who does this so-called sex offender know that would take him off of the registry list? Okay, has to have some type of connections to somebody within the police department to remove him from the database. So anyway, this is all so nefarious. With that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. Everyone, please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, don't forget, for those of you who are members of the spiritual channel, I'm going live on there at 4:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also for the rest of you, do not forget that this Wednesday, I'm going to be conducting an interview with Andrew Wyatt, who is Bill Cosby's publicist. We're going to be talking about Mr. Cosby. We're going to be talking about Diddy and the Adult Survivors Act and how that impacts our community and things like that. So that's what we're going to talk about. Make sure you stay tuned. All right. And don't forget to subscribe to the other channel, the main channel, the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur Show, if you have not done so already. Okay. So with that all being said, that crazy bitch Eris says, thank you, Nancy Drew of journalism. Thank you, beloved. All right. So anyway, I love you all to life. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
With that gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece. This time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me?
Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin? God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done.